Hey, how you doing, YouTube? Rusty's Metals, Precious Metal Hub. Today we're going to go over a review of Greg Hunter's The USA Watchdog interview with Rob Kirby of Canada, of Kirby Analytics, and it was a very detailed interview on the fact that fiat currencies intrinsic values always absolutely goes to zero, and it's just amazing how we're letting the central bankers get away with all this stuff. It's really bothersome that people are still more concerned with American Idol, their favorite sports team, or recently the guy leaving money everywhere and leaving hints on a Twitter account for some kind of a treasure hunt. It's a debacle. Everything is a distraction. What we need to do is get rid of these central bankers. We would all not need to go on treasure hunts to find money. We would all be wealthy. We would have capital controls on our currency, and therefore inflation, hyperinflation would not be a problem. And it's just amazing how much derivatives all these banks are holding, and basically lying about the employment numbers, the GDP numbers, the CPI numbers, the so on and so forth, and over and over and over again. Everything that comes out of Washington is a lie. The banks own them. The banks own the media. The banks probably even own your sports team or the American Idol. It's just amazing. We've been duped. We need to solve the problem. Alright, so here's the YouTube link. I just want to make sure everyone goes to Greg Hunter's YouTube channel, watches the video. Greg Hunter lately has been awesome, gathering guests that are just unmatched. He has interviewed all the great researchers out there on this great economic crisis that we're facing. Rob Kirby is 15 years of experience in international derivatives as a broker. He goes over the balance sheet of Deutsche Bank, which is approximately $76 trillion in derivatives. He goes over how the Austrian people request audit of their gold held in deposit at London banks because of the problems that Germany has been facing with their gold on deposit at the New York Fed. Now, there's speculation that the gold is not even actually there. The gold has been re-hypothecated, which means there are many owners to one piece of gold bar. Kirby goes over the extensive documentation that every gold bar goes through, its weight, its purity, there's a stamp on each gold bar. There's huge amounts of documentation that goes onto each bar held on deposit. And basically the New York Fed told the Germans that they cannot see their gold, but don't worry, everything is fine, blah 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 blah. So what happens after that? The BaFin German regulators go and start digging in to Deutsche Bank. Let's see, Barclays gets sued for gold manipulation. Deutsche Bank gets a comb through their books by the BaFin, German Ministry of Finance, and all of a sudden, Deutsche Bank backs out on the gold fixing in London and the silver fixing in London. And what's bothersome to Rob Kirby is they didn't even sell the seat before they left, which means that looks like BaFin regulators are onto the scheme, onto the scam, and they will not let it stand in Germany because the Germans know what it means to have their currency go to absolutely zero. When they were using, you've seen the pictures of Weimar Germany when they had a wheelbarrow full of money that can only buy, a loaf of bread. They know what happens when intrinsic value of the currency goes to zero. Therefore, they just are not going to go along with this game anymore. And with $76 trillion on Deutsche Bank's balance sheet, that is 20 times the size of Germany's GDP. Now, that is just that's crazy, and the Germans know that this cannot happen again to them. What's bothersome here in this country is nothing is done about J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, all the swaps going on, and Kirby also goes through the OTC market, where this marketplace where it's over the counter, and these derivatives are being traded or swapped with the Treasury Department with no regulation and no control. BaFin, Ministry of Finance, will not stand for it. They will make sure that Deutsche Bank will be put out of business, which is what we should be doing here. Rob Kirby says $76 trillion for Deutsche Bank. Do we really know what the derivatives are for Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, and Bank of America? Not to mention Wells Fargo, which they've been doing swaps. We know that Bank of America has been bailed out since 2008 with these swaps, but there's no documentation. There's no proof, because these people are criminal. They're psychopaths, and in another aspect, they're taking our land as collateral for these swaps. They're taking. Rob Kirby has mentioned in the video that there is probably no gold in America. He would be amazed if there is any gold left for America. So that means that the intrinsic value of the dollar is already at zero. All that's holding up the dollar is confidence. The Treasury Department and the Fed are doing these swaps, printing money left and right, hand over fist. What are we going to do? Oh, we're just going to sit around, living off the government. No one has a good job. It's mind-boggling. I think it's too late for the dollar. I'm going to do another video on where James Rickards comes out and says, well, when the dollar dies, we are going to be issued this little special drawing rights from the IMF, which is very disturbing, because the Federal Reserve is the head of the monster. The London banks in the Federal Reserve are the head of the monster. This head of the monster is created this IMF, where they are just going to have a new world order, international monetary fund, where everybody gets their money, their special drawing rights from the IMF. And the thing is, the IMF has no money, but they're just going to print these things left and right because this is how it works. When you are able to create debt through credit, you gain control. That's their control mechanism. We cannot let them go on with this crap. So there you have it. Please listen to Rob Kirby, Dollar Will Absolutely Go to Zero. And here we have, please visit rustysmetals.com. I've written my own synopsis of the interview. Please share, like this video, comment please, and please subscribe. I love to do this every day, do reviews on special guests. We're going to start our own precious metals hub hangouts. So on and so forth. I appreciate your support. Please visit the site, buy some gold and silver. Please stack as much as you can before the intrinsic value of the dollar absolutely goes to zero.